Welcome.
Okay. Hello. My name is Monique Littman. I am 17 years old, and I am fifth generation born and raised in San Francisco. And currently, I volunteer in the Animal Resource Center as a junior zoologist and in the education building as a Talk on the Wild Side volunteer. In the past 4 years, I have also volunteered at the Children's Zoo as an adult volunteer and on Nature Trail. Aside from volunteering, some of my earliest memories are at the zoo, such as my third birthday party. The zoo has not only been a job and a childhood memory to me, but also a common ground between me and my father, who is currently a board member. Mostly through my volunteering experience, I have witnessed and practiced the good works the zoo incorporates into its message of connecting the public with nature, conserving resources, and caring about animals and our world. Daily, I see children and adults making the conscious decision to change their ways to be more green because of our efforts at the zoo. With that in mind, I think it is cowardly to opt to change the zoo, screw the freaking time limit, opt to change the zoo, simply because the media is putting pressure on the situation. I understand that the zoo is not perfect. And
thank you, Ms. Littman. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Seth Timothy Wong, a volunteer at San Francisco Zoo, 3 years, going on my fourth. And I just want to bring up education again. I don't know if you want to look at that or what, but it's been established. I don't know if you were listening before, but we are going to lose money, and that's what our education programs build from. That's how they grow. That goes to all the maintenance, docents, Talk on the Wild Side volunteers, Nature Trail, all the programs that reach out to children. And I don't know what you're thinking, but those kids that were here earlier, they're the next generation. They're the kids that we reach out to. They're the kids that go off and change the world. And all the volunteers, you want a good example of devoted volunteers? Look at the frickin' first row right here. Look at the people back there. We're reaching out. We just want you to know, just to think of us when you're making your decisions. I don't know what's going to go down, but in any of your decisions or changes that you're going to make, keep us in mind, keep the success of our education programs in mind, and, you know, keep in mind the children in San Francisco and the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, but you should know that pretty much I think about kids all the time, at least in the middle of the night. I'm thinking about they're waking me up. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Alika Rubido. I was here at the last meeting. I was born and basically raised in San Francisco. I had a longer speech prepared, but due to the time restraints, I'm not going to be able to get around to all the topics that I was going to discuss. But I would like to bring to attention the fact that I'm shocked that people want to put all these funds into recreating the zoo entirely, but will not put those same funds into the zoo that is already there. Despite accusations, we are a rescue zoo, and we do not look at our animals as a stamp collection or a coin collection, as was brought up in the last meeting. I would like to see the zoo continue as it is now, changing lives that are human and otherwise. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please. Pretty much I think about kids all the time, at least in the middle of the night. I'm thinking about kids.
I have a question for Chris Daly. A minute ago you said to somebody that you'd heard the argument, but I don't really think you're listening to it. Like, you're listening to her over there where she says she can bring her rich friends in, but you're not listening to the lady with her 2 kids. I mean, what is up with that? Like, you're not listening. You're just not.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please. Pretty much I think about kids all the time, at least in the middle of the night. I'm thinking about kids.
Hi, my name is Laura Eagleston. I don't know if you guys know very much about conservation, but these animals cannot just rely on breeding programs. The biggest way that we're going to save our Earth's animals and biodiversity is through education. And when children come to San Francisco Zoo, they can go into the children's zoo and pet animals and experience them first on. And when they grow up, they're going to want to take care of these animals. And when they come to the biofact carts and feel the fur of a snow leopard or a tiger, they're going to want to save those animals when they grow up. And I think you guys should really listen to that, because conservation isn't just going to rely on breeding programs. Education is the only thing that can really save our Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eagleston. pretty much I think about kids all the time, at least in the middle of the night. I'm thinking about kids.
There will be a period of change where we need to create new educational programs. The volunteers, man, can you imagine how great you will feel when you're volunteering and educating people about helping animals? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please. Pretty much I think about kids all the time, at least in the middle of the night. I'm thinking about kids.
You know how to whistle, don't you? You put your lips together and blow.